Yep, I'm cooking again. So this is my entry for battle roast of pork. As you can see by my almost clean countertops, there's a lot less ingredients than there was in my chili recipe. It's a much more simple recipe. And it comes almost entirely from the same book as last time. So thanks, Bruce. Two really good recipes in a row. Pretty much the only thing I did to this one is just cut it down for size. The pork is gonna get a rub that has salt and then black peppercorns and fennel seeds. Yeah, so the fennel seeds are kind of the, delicious fennel-y sausage flavor, and black peppercorns are just delicious. Some rosemary and some garlic. And what's celery doing in a pulled pork recipe, Bruce? I don't know, but it's really good. He does this sort of, come on, phone focus, there we go. He does this, he calls it relish, and it's kind of like a, I don't know, tapenade of sorts. It's got the olives in it, and then the parsley leaves and the celery leaves. We're actually only using the leaves, and not nearly that much. I just didn't feel like picking my celery apart for this shot. It's really good. Probably optional, but I totally recommend trying it out. And over here is our piece of pork, about 2 pounds. This is the tool I'm going to be using to make the rub. It's my mortar and pestle. At this size, I'm not sure a food processor would work. Maybe if you had a very, very small one. But I think if you don't have one of these, get real friendly with your knife skills. This recipe might actually be the reason I own a mortar and pestle now that I think about it. I've made it a bunch of times for a long time, and haven't changed much. So I'm going to start grinding my spices. And the reason I'm going to do it in a couple of steps instead of just throwing everything into it is this one has kind of smooth sides, and I had one before that was a little more coarse, and it was really, really good at grinding up any kind of leafy herb, so it pasted the rosemary really well. This one's more smooth. It does a great job, much better job on the spices, you'll see when I'm done. But it takes a while to get the rosemary to a nice consistency. So I'm going to try and do it in a couple of steps, and I'll see what happens. Yeah. See that? Got a nice fine, but not too fine. That smells really good. Okay. I also chopped up the rosemary. Hopefully that'll help. Tripling up on the insurance. I've got the rosemary all chopped up. It's in there by itself, but it's not by itself. It's got a little bit of salt to sort of help grind it along. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. Oh, I forgot to cut the little tails off the garlic. I don't know if those do anything, but I usually just cut them off. Just forgot this time. Okay, now that I got the garlic started, I'm going to add those spices back in and stay. 1.5 teaspoons or half a tablespoon of salt. That should get it going. That looks nice. And just a little bit of olive oil. We got our nice paste. And a mess all over my counters. Because I can't cook without making a huge mess. Okay. So this one's actually got, this must have been close to the bone. It's got some little crevices or whatever. Which I think normally for a pot roast or something would be a little bit of issue. But the way we're gonna cook this, it's not gonna make much of a difference. It's just gonna increase surface area for deliciousness. Come on now. Okay. Whoops. Let's see if I can't tuck some of those bits in so they don't get overly crispified. Yeah, that should be okay. I guess if I was really concerned, I could just tie it. I think I've got some string somewhere. Okay. Okay, so here's where the recipe gets really weird, other than the celery. This pulled pork doesn't get cooked in a Dutch oven, or I don't know, wherever else bloggers cook pulled pork. Isn't that a thing? I don't know. It gets cooked on a sheet pan, on a rack, in the oven, completely exposed. But I'm telling you, there's a reason I've made this so many times, and you'll see it at the end. Or maybe you'll hear it. I don't know. Hopefully you'll smell and taste it. Yep, this one's ready to go in the oven. Alright, pork is going in the oven for 4 hours. It's going to be such a long time to smell this. Whew. Yep. Yep. Ready for some poking. Yeah, I'm patient. Oh. Give it another half hour or so. Try that. Alright. In the meantime, I'm going to start making that relish. So I've been standing here recording a bit, and I hadn't pushed play. Oops. So pretend that this is the first time I'm pulling pork out of the oven. And pretend that there's not a big hunk missing, because I was standing here sampling it. Yep. It's done. Mmm. And it is delicious. Though not quite as pretty, because I tore it up. But yeah, you can just see how much of that big, thick layer of fat came right out. All along the bottom there. There's still a little bit left, but it's not too bad. It's definitely, kind of empty. Made an interesting crust on top. And that's actually why in the beginning of the video I said I hope you can hear why I like doing it in a pan, because of this. Yummy. And over here is our relish. Oh, it smells wonderful. It smells like all of that celery and parsley. With lemon. Mmm. Yep. Yeah, I need to plate this up. Okay, here we are. So normally when I make this, I serve it with rice and usually some kind of either slaw or like something that's mixed into the rice. But this time I decided to make some mashed potatoes, and these are mashed russet potatoes and sweet potatoes. I don't know, they taste like kind of like bland sweet potatoes. Don't know if I'll be making that again. But let's see how it is. It's alright. It's pork and sweet potatoes. Mmm. This stuff, on the other hand, oh yeah, this stuff is good. It makes really good sandwich leftovers, which is probably how I'll be enjoying the rest of this. Yep. Ooh. I just want to take this and go eat now. So yeah. That's, what does Bruce call it? I don't know. Bruce calls it something with a funny cookbook name. I call it pulled pork. It's definitely pullable. It is definitely delicious. Yep. If you make it, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. And definitely go and check out the rest of the playlist where I hope you found this on JPEG O'Death and Vault Girl's collaborative Cooking Gamers and Geeks playlist. Definitely go and look for the other entry in Battle Roast Pork, which is Nacho Bidness. He made a maple and mustard roasted pork, which looks completely wonderful, and I can't wait to try that next week.